All right, we're live at Black WrestleFest. This is the Hardy Wrestling Podcast with your girl Stephanie, and I am sitting here with Randy. Oh my gosh! Oh, this is so cool. Randy and Eric of wow, I keep saying all this stuff. Backstage Brawl. I'm getting tongue tied. We're all black today. That's what it is. Black blah 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 blah. Yeah, of Backstage Brawl. How are you guys doing?
I mean, I'm good, man. I feel good. I'm happy to be here. It's a pleasure to be around you guys, especially for you and the success that you've gone through over the last few years with your podcast. It's just an honor to be part of it.
Yeah. And you?
Yeah, I'm feeling great. Again, thank you for having us, number one, and congratulations on all your success. And I'm glad that you're personally being, labeled out here as the podcaster that you are, because you're a great podcaster. So.
Thank you guys so much for your compliments and just for your love and support, because I know you guys have been out here, doing the dang thing. So it means a lot, coming from you guys. So I want to ask you both, when did you fall in love with wrestling?
I mean, I was a 4-year-old kid watching WWF, and Undertaker was the first person that I saw growing up watching, the old WWF back in the day. Then I discovered WCW and Harlem Heat, and I always knew about Hulk Hogan and Macho Man, but Taker, I was a new generation kid before anything, and then the Monday Night Wars kid when I was watching Harlem Heat and seeing someone like Booker T, who was like me, had the same skin tone, and it was a time that I gravitated to, and it's been with me ever since.
I gotta say, for me, it was my uncle that really got me into it. The first thing he used to only watch, I know you being from the South, the only thing there was WCW at the time, during the 90s. So I was forced to watch it, and I fell in love with it since day one. And that's why, Diamond Dallas Page is one of my favorites, my absolute favorite. So seeing Diamond Dallas Page, and also I always reference the Armageddon Steel Cage match with Undertaker, The Rock, Kurt Angle, Stone Cold. I've been hooked since 96, so I love it.
It's so funny you mentioned that, because that cage match actually took place in Birmingham, Alabama. Yeah, because Armageddon was the first and only pay-per-view that Birmingham has ever had. The only WWE pay-per-view we've ever had, because my parents actually went to that. So it's crazy.
That pay-per-view was great, I had an older brother who watched wrestling before me, so that's how I got into it. So that event, I always go back to that match, that event, because 2000 was a very special year, and they capped it off very well with Armageddon that year, especially the main event, because so much was at stake during that time.
Right.
And you can't beat that. You can't beat those memories. And what gravitated you to love the industry, and as a fan, and now to podcast it and talk about it. Back in the day, there was never a safe space like that. Back in the day, when you're in school and you're doing the cross chops or raising the eyebrow and you're doing, God knows, someone calling a jabroni or land you in detention or calls home more often than not, and to have the safe space to talk about it and not be ridiculed, and to have more of us actually doing it, it's the most rewarding and fantastic. Singing Whitney.
Right.
So we're at a great event right now, so I'm enjoying myself. So
yeah, it's great. Well, I do want to ask you guys, when did you decide to make the decision to create the Backstage Brawl show to share your opinions about wrestling?
Okay, so just to let everybody know who's viewing this, you're about to hear a very great story, because we didn't know each other at all. That's real, for real. We didn't know each other. So when we made a Facebook page, we were just all thrown into a Facebook Messenger group chat. Still there to this day. And that's where me and Randy met. And me and Randy have, honestly, this is my brother. We've been brothers since 2013, since the first day I met him. And ever since then, we had the Facebook page, and then the pandemic hit. And unfortunately, everything got shut down. A lot of people couldn't go to work or do certain things. That's when we were able to start doing the podcast, and through Zoom, through a lot of other things. And honestly, we've gotten a lot out of it. One thing, if you guys haven't seen the panel, I don't know if the panel's going to be posted, but if you guys haven't seen the women's panel, the one thing Stephanie talked about was wrestling gave her a lot back, and it gave us a lot back as well when we started this. We've got to come to events like this or meet certain wrestlers that we never thought we would have. I have honestly friends who do this on a regular basis, which I never thought I would have. So it's been a really great ride so far, and it only gets better from here.
I mean, it taught me a lot. Like, me and Eric have been doing this for 9 years. Like, we had the page 9 years ago, and I'd be remiss not to give credit to the podfather I call Carl Colange, because the PWS Spotlight, he started that in 2010 when I was still in high school. I was a senior in high school. He started the PWS Spotlight, and he was going to WrestleManias and having interviews and going to Access and doing all those events. And I was like, yo, that's so cool. Like, he broke the mold for me at the time. And then, like, Black and Yardley, of the Jobber Tears, they grew up with a close friend of mine in Rosedale, and I knew about them. It was like, you could have told me about them a minute ago. It's on the third, but and to see where their rise has gone as well, and me and Eric has always talked about doing a podcast for years, but certain things, I was in school at the time, I wasn't really working, so I had idle time, but we never had the resources to do it. So the pandemic came, and I did it for two reasons. Well, the podcast started for two reasons. One, because fulfilling that promise me and Eric made to each other years ago, and then two, my younger brother's into journalism. He graduated, from a journalism school. He's into sports as well, and we branched off many different shows just from podcasting. Just from doing the broadcast, we went through many names, but the broadcast is the final name for our actual show. But where our inception was, I remember our first episode we did with a longtime friend of mine, and then it grew. Like, one of our episodes on YouTube featuring Danny Lamlight was our first wrestler we interviewed. And then of course I met Kiki through podcast. A lot of different, like you said, wrestling's giving a lot back to you. It's giving a lot to me as well. And for me, I wanted to give to my brother, because it's like, he's in journalism, he's doing this thing, and we're doing the pandemic. I'm like, I'm not letting his dream die. So I want to marry the two together. And obviously, as of late, things have kind of gotten, busier since the pandemic's kind of slowed down. I'm teaching full time, but I've never been away from the podcasting or away from like the wrestling news of it all. Like I'll do other podcasts, and just again the think of it, like the Council of Commentary, the Four Corners, those are my guys too. Shout out to them. They just celebrated 2 years. We're 2 years in terms of podcasting as well. But they're up and running. Dirty Heels. Me and Eric like to say that we're the best tag team in the IWC, but Dirty Heels, they live it. And of course Shantice, who I got introduced to her doing the every February she does something special for Black wrestlers and Black performers, especially Black women, and bringing that to the forefront. Nobody would have known about how many people were in Black wrestling from even before the 60s if it wasn't for her. So she put that out there, and of course Kiki doing articles before she retired and now doing commentary. To see what everybody's been doing, Pretty Heels or Kat, who I saw earlier, to see that and what you're doing as well. It's a I've never thought in a million years we'd be able to do this. We talk about eras in Black culture where we talk about the Black Renaissance with Langston Hughes and Maya Angelou and everything that happened during that time period, or Black Wall Street, or even the 70s with Blaxploitation, and how Black actors came together to basically do their own content for them, by them. Like, they made a biopic based off of Dolomite. Dolomite is my name. Is a microcosm of what happens when we come together for a single goal. Because if Hollywood ain't watching us, we gotta do it for ourselves.
Right.
So for us, what we doing right here, if WWE's not watching us, we doing it for ourselves. We're not doing it for Vince or Stanford to watch us, or Tony in Jacksonville to say, oh, I want them. No, we want our work to speak for ourselves, and what your work has done, especially with you and what you're able to do with 3 amazing legends that you interviewed, Pat, 2 weeks ago. It's an inspiration to us, because it's like, even though we feel like we're here, there's so much ground that we have to go to, and we're proud of your success, because your success is indebted to the work that you put in and the inspiration that you put into us and everybody else as well. Jobber Tibbs with Wilkins doing Complex, or Joakim and Janelle doing Battle Club. We're in a time now where we feel like we're doing it on our own, with our own, and it's like it's a family setting. Like today, Black WrestleFest feels like a family reunion, and the fact that we get a chance to come out. May not be a lot of food around, but we get a chance to come out and just congregate and enjoy each other's company, and that's how it should be. You know, and that's what we're here for, and we're here to celebrate success and your success and everyone's success. You know, we're not as successful as the next person. You know, we put our we put our pants on one leg at a time, and we all do this together. So and for us to be here, you know, as a member of the Backstage Brawl, me and Eric, it's a beautiful thing, and it's inspirational. It's humbling. It's heartwarming. Good energy should always be, you know, because we want to make sure that at the end our goal will be heard loud. Just because Hollywood doesn't see us doesn't mean the fact that we're not doing our thing on Broadway.
Right.
So that's just how I feel about what we're able to do together. And for us, you know, for what we do fantasy booking and a microcosm of stuff as well. And what we do, like, and I miss doing that. I miss going back and be able to say, all right, how do we flip the forbidden door? How do we book you know, Vince's impending, you know, departure, or that's what we do. We step into the fantasy realm to let your mind wander, because sometimes, you know, you'll hear everybody have the same, you know, stories and what they like to put out. But for us, it's like, okay, what if we tweak it like this? What if it would be like this? And we like to play with it, because that's what wrestling is. That's what entertainment is. It's a microcosm of mixing reality with fantasy, because it take your mind off of it. If you're invested in reality TV with the Bad Girls Club and all these other shows, or even like, you know, the shows that we love on Netflix or reality or primetime TV, it's no different than what pro wrestling offers us, and we shouldn't be shunned for it. Right. You know, now it's more open now than ever, especially from the black contingent, that they can't deny it any longer, saying it's not cool. You see Lil Scrappy getting in the ring, and this, that, and the third, so it's no longer taboo. And the fact that we're here now, you can't deny any one of us, you know. And as long as we do it in as a family and keep it whole in our circle, can't nobody come in and try to say we want to gentrify that aspect of it. So when you see people on Twitter and social media going back and forth with their takes and trying to rip us apart, we have to. My idea is, you know, at least for me, is to maintain what we have in our circle so that anything outside can get into it.
Definitely. That's really powerful stuff right there. Lots of powerful stuff. So I guess the next question I would have for you now is, how does it really like feel to be a part of something like Black WrestleFest during this historic weekend, which is Juneteenth, you know, as black men?
For me, this is a great weekend. I feel like shouts out to definitely to Pretty Heels for putting this together. Basically, they did a wonderful job. Also, if you're watching this in the New York area, make sure you get your tickets for tomorrow. Get your tickets. But we're sponsoring. But this is a weekend that needs to happen. You know, it's not only just for wrestling fans, for the culture. And that's mainly what's really important, our culture, and to be heard. I mean, there's not a lot of black wrestlers who are actually at the top. And it doesn't really matter where we are on the card. We're going to show up and show out, because that's just who we are, and that's just what we do. So I appreciate this weekend for a lot of reasons, and, you know, hopefully we get another one of these next year, because this was really great.
Not to do a cheap plug, but it's good to finally get a chance to meet you. Because, you know, like the first time I got a chance to discover you was during when Wilkins used to do lives on Thursdays. Mm-hmm. So, and that was during the pandemic. So that's when I discovered you and then started following you and seeing the work that you put in, and to see your meteoric rise to a level where you're at now. And I as a fellow Virgo, you know, we meant for this.
Exactly.
So don't think the success is like, oh, we don't deserve it. We deserve this shit. But you know, but to see your rise, you know, and what you've been able to put in has been so rewarding and so infectious in terms of how happy you carry yourself. And as a fellow Virgo, I know how, you know, it's hard celebrating ourselves when we're so humble. Mm-hmm. So like to come from a place and seeing what you're able to do and showcase that, now you're commentating tomorrow. It's a beautiful thing, and to be part of WrestleFest, and shout out to Pretty Heels for what they've been able to do. And I've seen them in Dallas, I've seen them, you know, in Jersey and past, you know, recently. The more we're together, the more it feels like a family engagement. It doesn't feel like, you know, it doesn't feel like work. You're with family. And sometimes when family pulls you aside, like Janelle pulled me aside and says like, when y'all coming back, you know, it's like
both of us aside.
She pulled both. Well, you about marriage, me is like, yo, get back on your shit. you know. But at the time, you know, it's like when you wear so many hats, it's kind of hard to like circle back and dial back. But you know, we are coming back, you know, and we're trying to find our footing because everything is transitional. So we're working ourselves in, and we'll definitely be back, but we're never away.
We're getting waved off by the boss of Battle Club. No, I'm just joking.
You just want to say bye.
I'll see you tomorrow.
I'll see you tomorrow, man. See you tomorrow.
One thing that we do that we've been doing a lot with the Twitter Spaces. I host a Twitter Space from our Twitter page. If you're not following us, follow us at the Backstage Brawl.
Backstage underscore Brawl on Twitter.
It's too many socials. He handles the social media.
I'm you know, he's the one that he's the advocate.
I'm just an advocate. Don't.
I'm the businessman on the side of this.
Shout out to Takeover, but you know, in terms of being here at Black WrestleFest, it's great because it's like so many misconstrued opinions and believed facts online about certain people. At least for today, were put to bed because it's one thing you hear on social media about certain people, but when you see them in person, they're completely different. It's always good, like they said, like Kiki said, and you said as well. Always go to the source, rather than just hearing the hearsay from other people. Because, you know, we know when we get together, we could be a handful, especially when things spill out. But as long as you go to the source, a lot of the issues that we have could be quelled. And today was harmony, it was peace. You know, people that, you know, you see people engage and talk and have a good opportunity to talk and get a chance to know each other. It's the biggest thing ever because it's like, this shows the fact that if we were able to say if Black Wall Street was able to be Black Wall Street again,
right,
it's possible because we're able to do it.
Right.
You know, and the fact that, you know, we're all in our own business as well, we're able to uplift each other and keep us on a level where we can definitely grow and just go past that glass ceiling that they have for us and not move the goalposts. Like, we're the goalpost now.
Right.
You come score here because we've already been there. So that's how I have the outlook of how today feels and how it should be in the future.
Exactly. It's some pretty powerful stuff from the both of you. I'm so glad y'all came to sit with me and have this conversation. Like, it's really great. So, yes, really, like, it's an honor for me. So just tell us, you know, tell everybody where they can find you and follow you, and tell everyone what you got coming up next.
Okay, well, you can follow me on my personal Twitter at QueensMadeGrizz with 3 underscores. That's QueensMadeGrizz at 3 underscores. Yes, I am New York through and through. You can follow our podcast page, the Backstage Brawl. Was it Backstage Brawl underscore? Yeah, okay. So Backstage underscore Brawl on Twitter. It's Backstage Brawl on Instagram. The Backstage Brawl on Facebook and YouTube. So you can follow us there. What else? We're on Reddit. Yeah, we're on Reddit. Other stuff. I don't know. I don't handle the socials. we need a social media team. No, you can find me at underscore his name is King on Instagram. His underscore name underscore is King on Twitter. And he just gave the socials for Backstage Brawl. You can find us at the Backstage Brawl on Facebook. You can find us at Backstage Brawl on Instagram and the Backstage Brawl on YouTube. So we will be coming back with a show. We're definitely going to be talking about Black WrestleFest and everything, in terms of where we've been and where we hope to go in the future. So, we'll be back and we'll talk about our 2 years because we never really got a chance to celebrate because our 2 years was last month. So we'll talk about that. And but yeah, we also got Bell to Bell, which is Tyler's show, as well. So where we talk about issues in wrestling that we hope to find solutions for. We have other shows coming around as well. We follow our parent company, the Sports Hit List, on Facebook. Our podfather, Carl Colon, has done a great job, manning, becoming the new ESPN. So he's been able to do all types of sports. You can follow the Sports Hit List on Facebook. We do live shows in terms of sports. He also does wrestling. One of his guys does an AEW show called the AEW Injection, Zach Droll. So be sure to check those guys out. So, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for our podfathers. So, we want to give love and shout out to them. And speaking of love, we want to give Stephanie love too, because for y'all that's watching this is our first time in New York City. She always wanted to come to New York. That's what she personally told me. And she's here, and you're doing a wonderful job. And she's going to be commentating at the show tomorrow, which is going to be amazing. So definitely we want to give you your flowers as well. So shouts out to you, Stephanie.
See, that when they say you make it in New York, you can make it anywhere. From Birmingham to Brooklyn. Hey, if you're a star here, you're a star everywhere.
Well, thank you guys so much for all of your love and support and everything. Oh my God, it's an insect. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for your love and support. I appreciate it, and I just love how you guys just, sat with me and talked with me. That was really great. So it looks like Black WrestleFest is wrapping up for today. So I will be back tomorrow. So, either way, just come and check us out if you're in the Brooklyn area. Lots of good stuff going on in Black WrestleFest this weekend, Juneteenth weekend. Then you got Battle Club Pro, and I'll be commentating, and I'll be there. So it's going to be great. So, yeah, we're live.